There it is. Okay, gonna do an intro and then we'll be off to the races. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Welcome to another episode of the Music Guy Podcast, the podcast about a couple of working musicians in the Toronto, Ontario area. My name is Al Rowe. I'm a music guy. I play guitar, I sing, I write songs, I make records, I stream on Twitch, and I live in Liberty Village, downtown Toronto, broadcasting to you on a reasonably warm summer's day here in Toronto. My partner in crime, co-host, guitarist, vocalist, composer, teacher, educator, handsome.
I'll do whatever.
Handsome fella
for money.
Also dabbled in Twitch streaming himself. It's
I have an OnlyFans. Check that out.
It's Mr. Michael Hebbs.
I feel like my job on this podcast is just to fucking interrupt your shit. Like, I've been going back through the things and editing stuff for clips, and like, there's so many times that you start talking, and I'm like, and this bullshit.
Dude, somebody has to. Just listening to me for an entire show would be awful. That'd be so boring.
There would be no show with me, though. Who am I going to interrupt?
With just you? Well, that's the yin and yang, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Which one are you, though? The yin or the yang?
I don't know.
Me neither. I don't know which one is which.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Anyways, that's that.
We're pleased to welcome to the show yet another special guest on a string of excellent special guests every week here. We're so lucky to have with us the trumpet player. What do you call it? Trumpetist? Trumpeter?
All of the above.
Yeah. A fantastic trumpet player, musician, plays for the Arkells, plays for Bedouin Soundclash, has a record coming out, or is out now. Is it out now?
Is it out?
It's already out.
It's already out, baby.
It's free,
the Bruce
baby.
and Tom Show, featuring a list of people that I definitely can't remember on the fly. And that's a free jazz record. And he also hosts an awesome Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Contra spelt with 4 A's, CONTR.
Love it.
4 A's.
Great name.
Humber graduate, our friend and yours, Mr. Thomas Moffett.
Yo, what's up?
Yo.
What's up?
We're psyched that you're here, man. Thanks for taking the
It's
time.
a pleasure to be on the podcast, you know, like I've been a full-time musician, I guess now for 7 or 8 years. But I've never been on a podcast before, which was starting to like actually affect me emotionally. It's my dad's probably been on 2-3 podcasts, like, and I've never been on one. Like, what kind of industry professional am I?
I mean, you made it now, so
Yeah, so
this is your big
here we
moment.
are.
This is
Don't fuck it up.
certainly this is a real milestone for you to look back on.
This year is full of milestones.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of time to chase milestones right now.
True that.
That's true. What have you been doing? Let's start with the question at the top of every podcast. How's quarantine been treating you?
Dude, quarantine's been very odd, man. Very strange.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a super social person. Like, let's say in an average, in the before times, in an average 2-week span, like 14 days, I would probably be out of the house on 13 of those 14 evenings.
Wow.
Like, I never stay at home. So never leaving the house has been quite a change for me.
It is what it is, baby.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Public health is obviously more important than my desire to drink until last call on a Tuesday night.
I can make an argument post that, though, you know?
Yeah, fair enough. So, I mean, what do you live downtown?
I do. I live in the Dufferin Grove area.
Okay, right on. And do you have a roommate,
Yeah.
or are you solo?
I've got 2 roommates, yeah, both musicians as well, like both full-time musicians, so none of us have day jobs.
Let's
We
just throw his address up on the video.
Yeah.
So you're I mean,
5.
at least you haven't been completely by yourself, because I know a few guys and gals who they live alone, and it's like this is this is getting kind of rough.
The thing, for sure. I mean, the first like 45 days of the lockdown, I was at about a 3 out of 10 on the like doing well mentally.
Yeah,
like
right.
I was down here, and then once the weather turned nice and I could start like hanging out with people like in a park or have people over to the backyard, I went back up to about like a 7.5.
There you go.
Like pretty reasonable. Like I'd say my mental health has reached pretty reasonable coasting status right now.
That's good.
Which is kind of the best you can ask for at a time like this.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm on medication, so my mental health is like whoosh, across the board, baby.
Yeah, steady. Steady is
Not
the
happy,
key.
not sad, just lifeless.
Yeah. Like ideal, really.
Right.
That's what I want. That's what I want. I get a few bumps in excitement, and this is one of those bumps. This podcast right here.
Hey, yeah, man. This podcast has, I think, been great for both of us, just in terms of having something to, sink time into and just put effort into, and get that social aspect too of like interacting with the people that we don't get to see now that things are the way they are. So what you have been doing, Tom, though, is you've been making some music at home and you've been streaming a bunch, and those kind of go hand in hand because you do like a live free jazz stream on your Twitch stream, and you've turned that into a record, as far as I understand. Is that right?
It actually started. It started like almost 2 years ago. A friend of ours had like a weekly slot at the Cameron House. Then all of a sudden, he was like, I can't do this week or any subsequent weeks. Can you guys fill in for me? And it was just me and my now roommate, Bruce. And we're like, yeah, okay. We showed up, we're like, what the fuck are we going to do? And the answer is we just played. Like, we just started playing.
Yeah.
It turned into like we took breaks for summers and whatnot, touring and shit. But for 2 years, we did a weekly, like, free jazz gig, basically, where we got different guests every week. And then finally we cut a record. My buddy Gareth Perry, Toronto-based guitar player, he has a vintage, like, tape studio.
Oh,
He's
nice.
like, let's cut a record. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And so we cut a record in an afternoon, basically.
All right. Can I play something off of it? Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Just so people can hear what we're talking about here. So this is this track is called "The Moon Rises Low." Is that one I can play? Is that okay?
I mean, the titles mean nothing to me. They're all instrumental improvisations. So.
All right, and the record is called.
Let's hope it's a good one.
The record is called "The Bruce and Tom Show," featuring Leland Whitty, Gareth Perry, Gordon Highland, Vivian Wilder, and John Hyde. The track is called "The Moon Rises Low." We'll hear some of that right now. Here it is.
Song sucks.
Right on. So that's that's the Moon Rises Low by the Bruce and Tom Show. Yeah, man, that was like very cinematic. Parts of it really felt composed to me. Just listening back to it.
We did not hear anything.
Oh, you couldn't. You guys couldn't hear that.
That's why I was dicking around.
Oh no, I didn't realize that.
Back, Tom's. That's not your fault. That's okay.
Oh, that's weird that didn't.
Yeah, but
that doesn't loop back for you guys.
I believe you. Though. I believe.
Yeah. I have faith.
Oh man.
Most people just pretend to listen to an improvised music record when you put it out, and I appreciate that you're pretending that you listen to it. That's great.
So,
let's do that again. Do another take. I got this.
So what do you?
Just like my mom and dad.
Yeah. Oh, that's great, dear.
That's so special.
So what do you guys? I mean, the sounds were beautiful. Like the recording was super well done.
Yeah, it's all to tape,
baby.
actually.
And yeah, it sounds. I mean, what I could tell was going on in the tune. Like there's guitar, there was saxophone, maybe a baritone sax, because it was dipping down pretty low. Clarinet. Oh, bass clarinet.
Bass clarinet.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Leland played tenor and bass clarinet on the record, and then Gordon played tenor as well.
right on. So when you guys sit down to do a track like that, is it just is anything said at all, or do you guys just start playing, or is there just
nothing is said at all? It's usually just like you'll pick somebody to start,
okay,
and then from there's no rules. We used a little bit more direction on the record than we do when we do it live, just because we didn't want 2 25-minute tracks to be the record.
Yeah.
So it's like okay, let's try and keep this one around like 4 minutes, or like keep this one at 10 minutes or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas when we do it live, it's just like 2 improvisations. We do a set, which is anywhere between 20 and 40 minutes. Take a break and then do the same thing again.
Fuck.
Wow.
But yeah, for the record, I mean, I don't think that makes a very compelling listen in 2020 on
Yeah,
wax.
the focus.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I think when I think free jazz. I think this is gonna sound like something that doesn't make any sense to me. And that track sounded like it made sense. So
right, we actually usually call it more like space jazz, because it's just
I
like,
fucking love that name.
let's take it to outer space, like use your ears, see what happens. But like I'm happy landing in tonality and in like patterns and stuff like that, you know?
yeah.
That stuff is certainly not off limits, and in fact it gives audience members a nice like stuff to latch on to. Because if you're just floating in space the whole the gig was at the Cameron House, which is not a jazz club.
Right.
So like the people who are there are like normal music fans, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the idea for us is to like push like an average listener outside of their comfort zone, certainly, but also like give them something that they can relate to. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Right. I think that's a great goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
no room for
glimpse of
elitism
space.
in music, in my opinion. You know, it's like
I agree.
Oh yeah.
no, we're above pandering to the audience. It's like no, because if the audience likes it, that's probably something I like too. It's like, you know?
Yeah.
You're a human being as well. I mean, you should just have clips of space in the background while you play.
Yeah, some like Carl Sagan voiceovers or something. Yeah, I couldn't secure the rights in time, sadly.
Yeah, there you go.
I contacted Sagan Estates. Turns out it's just a winery.
Is that a winery?
No.
Oh,
It's just a
really
bad
clever
joke.
joke that went over my head. You also, you're a movie reviewer as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I'm
You had
a
very
one-time movie
yeah,
reviewer,
you had a
certainly.
spicy post about a certain musical
Yeah, I made a very long... like, I've always enjoyed, like, writing. Like,
Yeah.
not non-musical writing, in addition to writing music. And I don't know, like, I don't know what compelled me. Like, I just heard that this movie was, like, terrible, like, really terrible, despite having a star-studded cast. It was Cats. And so, like, I woke up, and it was in December. I had nothing to really do that day. And I woke up, and I was just sort of, like, doinking around the apartment. It's like, oh, Cats comes out today. So I went to, like, a 2 p.m. screening of Cats by myself. And, yeah, I wrote a review of it that went, like, not viral, but, like, picked up some, like, it got, like, shared around, like, a couple hundred times. And, like, I got, like, enough Reddit gold to last me a lifetime. You know?
And what was your take on the film?
I mean, it's not a take that nobody else has had. It's just a profoundly horny film. Like, it's just super randy stuff. Like, these cats, they're cats, and they've CGI'd away their genitals and buttholes. But
did you know that they had buttholes?
Yeah, it's like, it's more randy without the butthole there, because the implied butthole is more graphic than any actual cat butthole could possibly be.
So they had buttholes, and they had to hire someone to remove the buttholes, allegedly.
Oh,
After
interesting.
the fact, in post.
Yeah. They're like, these buttholes are too much.
Well, that guy's
sexy.
for sure a pervert at best and a downright deviant at worst. Because the implied butthole is still very much there. Like,
Very
he didn't
arousing.
do a good job. If he might have removed the physical butthole, but the spiritual butthole is certainly like pervading every scene of the
Alive and
movie.
enhanced.
well, oh my god.
That's like Hollywood, though, in general, though. Like, they're like, oh, well, no, there's no nudity or sex, but it's like implied sex and implied nudity and implied friskiness,
Yeah.
So well done, Hollywood. I just love, the thing that I loved about it is, like, yeah, Cats is probably a garbage movie. I haven't seen it. I read your review and I
didn't know anything
considered
about
it.
this.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
When they
that's
take great ingredients, like great actors and a big budget, and they fuck it up, it just tickles me in like such a great way. And also, Cats is allegedly a great musical. So it's all these great ingredients, and it's like, but they made a shitty fucking product. I love that idea.
I don't know, man. Like, if you're ever like bored and just really scrape the bottom of the barrel of what you want to do, give it a spin. Like, you'll find it interesting, if nothing else. Like, I think, like, we tend to talk about like really bad movies like very romantically. As like a culture, or like as maybe as artists. Like, every artist I know is really into watching like bad movies,
Like The Room.
Like bad art is like really fascinating for some reason, because we all think we're above it. It's like, no, like, I would never have messed it up that badly. But like, the thing to remember about something that's really bad, a movie like Cats, for instance, is that mostly it being bad just means it's incredibly boring. It's so boring most of the time. And then when it's not boring, it's like really like a 10 out of 10 thrills, because it's so messed up. But yeah, there should be a little less romance about bad art. Like, mostly it's just fucking boring. That's why it's bad. It's so boring.
Yeah.
I've dabbled. I've seen The Room. We were big fans, like my high school group, like after high school, obviously. But there's one guy named Neil Breen, and so it's the same thing. Garbage movies. But my one friend is like really into bad movies. So he found this guy from Las Vegas. He's an architect and uses his architect money to make movies where he stars as this like supposed to be hot young dude, but he's fucking old and gross. And they're like, the plot of the movies is fucking insane. He's a horrible actor. Neil Breen, like, check it out. If you're into bad movies. Yeah, I've
heard of Neil Breen. Like, the Red Letter Media people talk about Neil Breen sometimes.
He's wholesale fucking. It's like so bad though that it's entertaining because The Room is so bad, but this is worse.
The Room is great with a group of people because it's terrible and hilarious, and there's all these like memes surrounding it, like little bits. But watching it by yourself is impossible. Like if you try and watch it by yourself, it's just like it's not happening. You know,
you guys
it's
obviously
a group
my Twitch stream idea.
Do you guys watch the Disaster Artist? You guys watch that?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. That was a good movie, man.
He fucking crushed it.
Yeah. Yeah, that
kind of just made me want to watch The Room, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I found the story behind the movie quite compelling. Like I really felt for the. I can't remember the guy. What's the name of the guy who made the movie?
Tommy Wiseau.
That's the one. Yeah. Like I don't know. That film Disaster Artist made me feel.
Didn't he win an Oscar for it? Fucking.
I don't know. James Franco.
DeFranco. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
DeFranco.
Yeah. I just remember really feeling like, I just want this guy to succeed, man. Like I want this. But he was also kind of a bad dude at times in the movie, and it was, I don't know. It was fascinating is the word for it though. That whole situation.
Tommy Wiseau is. Tommy Wiseau certainly is.
So, one thing that we were chatting about before we started recording, Tom, you were kind of saying like your full-time job now is just streaming on Twitch. Like I don't know if that was tongue in cheek or not, but it's like that's what you've been. Well, I don't know if that's paying the bills for you.
In terms of hours put in, certainly. Like I'm live on Twitch like over 30 hours a week.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Almost a 9-to-5er.
Like as soon as like literally like 2 minutes after we finish doing this, I'm gonna go live on Twitch.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
No, I've caught a bunch of your streams now, and like I think I first started watching you because you were actually playing Magic the Gathering with, I think RJ was on your
stream. We would do Magic Mondays back in the day.
Yeah. And
Star Jeezy, mythic
Star Jeezy.
Standard player Star Jeezy.
That's right.
At the time, he didn't even know how to tap his lands. It's crazy.
He's come such a long way.
Now he's a mythic competitor.
Our young boy has just gone such a long way.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I mean, and you and I think we've only met in person maybe twice.
Yeah, just a couple times.
I could think of one time when I was maybe doing something for Stereo Flavor, and you might have been, been at your place or something, and maybe one time in college or something. I wasn't very social back in college.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But it's been good. I mean, it's been good to just sort of get to know you by way of watching that stream, and I think it's like what makes it so great is just your personality and your approach, and just it's a very chill environment. It's a very fun environment. There's lots of laughter. There's lots of silliness, and the games are fun. And you don't take yourself super seriously. And like it's, I don't know, man. It's just a blast to watch it, and having
thank you.
Yeah, man, and having sort of dipped my toe into the water of trying to stream on Twitch late last year, and then finding myself in a similar position to you is like, well, I got a bunch of time now. Like, I guess I'm just gonna do this a bunch. And just I mean, I just want to pick your brain on like how what you think is important in terms of being a Twitch streamer, and what you've sort of, what is your journey being like? When did you decide you wanted to start doing that?
Well, I started streaming in like late November of last year. Like December of last year is when I hit like affiliate, which is where you can start monetizing your Twitch channel.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
And that was I only did it because the busy season for gigs was kind of like winding up. Like in November I was on tour, and I got home, and then I had like kind of a couple weeks with like nothing really in the calendar. And I was like, I was already a Twitch user for a very long time. I've been a Twitch user since like 2012 or something. And I was like, I'm going to start a stream just for fun. Like, I'm already playing video games. Like, let's make it a little bit more social, see if anyone wants to watch. And so I was doing that just like a couple days a week, and I was doing lots of stuff with friends, like you mentioned, like RJ would come over and we'd play Magic. And then on Tuesdays, my buddy Seamus Curry. I don't know if you guys know Seamus.
I know Seamus.
Yeah, Seamus is like, he plays in the Sheepdogs, and
Yeah.
he lives literally a block from my house, and we watch sports together all the time. So we're like, let's play Battletoads every Tuesday. So it's like on Monday I'd play Magic with my buddies, on Tuesday I'd play Battletoads with my buddy, and then like maybe one other day a week I'd stream, like some day where I don't have a gig, and I just stream Super Mario Maker. And it was fun, but it was certainly like there was no schedule to it. There was no like point. It was just like, this is fun, like might as well do it. And then as soon as the COVID lockdown began, I was just like, all right, well, I guess I have lots of time to stream. And I think in the first 2 weeks I streamed like 13 out of 14 days, and I was like,
shit.
More people started watching. And I was like, okay, well, actually, I don't think I'm ever going to get another opportunity like this. So let's see what I can do with it. And I was like, I'm going to stream 6 days a week. And there have been a bunch of changes to the channel, too. Obviously, I can't have friends over, so it's just me now. Mm-hmm. I can't play Mario Maker anymore because I'm sick of it, which, like... The channel was like growing steadily, and then I'm like, the only game I play, I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore. I lost half of my viewers, and that it's slowly been growing. Now it's like it's doing the best it's ever been doing. It's just still on an upward trajectory, but it's like it's a lot of fun. I don't mind the fact that I'm like stuck doing it like every day.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're rocking it right now. Like I didn't realize that you'd only started in just so recently in November, because like every time I see you online now, it's like 40, 50 people in your channel. I'm like, damn, like
I know, it's pretty crazy. Like at the start of March, or in the middle of March when the lockdown started, my average viewers were like 5.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And now, it's like somewhere between 30 and 50 most days, and it's like, holy shit.
That's just so. Just to backtrack for a second, if people don't know what we're talking about that are listening, so the website's twitch.tv. Generally, it's people playing video games, and they're streaming it live, sort of the way we're streaming this podcast live on YouTube right now, and folks can watch, get in the chat. You can talk with the host and support them by subscribing to the channel, which sort of means as a viewer you pay X amount of dollars a month to sort of pledge to that streamer because you like what they're doing and you want to support the content that they're creating. And it's sort of expanded from there into, there's DJs on there that have a ton of people in their chat. There's like people doing live cooking shows, people just reading books or like just chatting or whatever. And then of course all the games for from like Fortnite, which would be one of the most popular ones, to any Battletoads, man, one of the most vicious games in terms of just wrecking the player. But yeah, so just so people have some context, so in order to get...
Yeah, the appeal is that it's live, right? Like, you're there, and I think the successful streams are ones that you're interacting with the broadcaster. So it's like, if there were like 500 people watching this podcast episode and the chat was going crazy, and we'd be talking to each other, but we'd also be talking with the people chatting,
Yeah. Imagine that.
Giving maybe suggestions and the little thingies.
Show feet. Show feet.
I mean, I'll get out there.
oh yeah. Too hot for Twitch, not
if
too
you
hot
want more,
not too hot
you
for
gotta get on my OnlyFans. Sorry, Mom.
So, yeah, man. So, like, what? So you said you've obviously made some changes to the channel's approach. Like, is there anything you would credit to sort of the rise in viewership and the growth of the channel? Like more than anything else? Is it just the frequency of stream and scheduling, or?
I think like all of the things that contribute to it, like there's a number of things and they all work together to help. The consistency is probably one of the biggest ones, because like I stream at the same time every day pretty much, you know, like with slight variations, like if something comes up I have to do, there's changes here and there, but pretty much like people know that if they want to watch my stream, it's at, 1 o'clock, Sunday through Friday, you know? And, but also it's a lot like music in the sense that like networking is definitely a thing too. And just like in music, like if you're trying to network, it doesn't work at all. Like it's just like purely organic. Like I like watching streams, so you just hang out in other people's, like I said, I've been on the platform since 2012, so it's like if I hang out in another stream, then those people, when their stream ends, it's like, oh, let's go raid my buddy Tom or Contra, you know? And that's like, oh, hey, new viewers that have never been here before, hopefully you find this content compelling enough to stay.
Yeah, right. Right.
And usually, some percentage of those people stay. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, like, I have learned that if I'm having, like, a really bad day, like, if I'm just not in a good mood or a social mood, I'm kind of better off not streaming. Like, it's interesting, you can look at the graphs, like, Twitch provides you with all this data to treat it like a game so that you get addicted to it, which you do.
Yes.
It's like, oh, my average viewers are down like 9 from yesterday. Like, why? And then you like watch your video on demand of the stream, and you're like, oh yeah, like I was clearly not in a good mood. Like, I wouldn't want to watch that either.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, man. Drugs,
true,
medication,
true.
baby.
Just like music, man. Drugs.
Drugs are the answer.
I mean, if you want to get real excited, could you imagine if the thing is jazz musicians do heroin, now Twitch streamers do heroin?
Right.
Capture that.
No, I think it's probably Adderall on Twitch.
Oh, sure.
Dude, some of those guys they'll marathon a game when it comes out or whatever and do like a 24-hour.
Those people are definitely like crushing and snorting Adderall before they go.
It's super. It's actually kind of certain games that have done like competitions to see like who can get to the end first, and it's it takes, you'd have to play for several days straight to do that, and then people do it because they want the Twitch views, and then like I've heard of people having like heart attacks and stuff from just like going way too hard at so it's actually kind of become a bit of a thing in that sense, but that healthy kind of
it's always interesting when there's like things like that, like companies are like, let's do this like fun thing, and like something horrible happens. Like I remember fucking for Wii, when Wii came out, it was a water drinking contest, and they didn't like look into it. It was a radio contest. It was like, oh, you win a Wii if you do it. And the lady fucking died.
Really?
From drinking water. You can die from drinking too much water.
Did she get the Wii?
I mean, it wouldn't have been in her will. So.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's.
She deserves the Wii, that's for sure.
I mean, there's only a very select few people that would be offended by that joke. And it's
true.
I really hope her family isn't listening to this podcast.
Oh dear.
It's funny that you mentioned you were
like, God damn it, we didn't get the Wii.
You mentioned Seamus, and the last time I hung out with Seamus was like probably 5 or 6 years ago. And me, him, and some other Humber guy got really fucked up at Sloppy Joe's, and on our way home, pissed off some guy with a machete, and he fucking chased us. So the last time I hung out with Seamus, we got drunk and got chased by a dude with a machete.
Man, Lakeshore in Etobicoke hits different, eh?
Yeah.
Like, That's a
miss it, though.
scene, man. That's a scene.
You know?
Be careful
That's
who
like,
you. Yeah.
Yeah. It was our fault. I mean,
Well,
Yeah, I tend not to antagonize people with machetes that often.
we didn't know we had a machete. And then when we found out, we just started running.
Well, the thing is, I think I would actually be uniquely prepared to deal with that situation.
What would you do?
Because I'm streaming like retro games all the time. Dude, the number of guys with machetes that have run at me on a daily basis while
There you
playing
go.
video
There
games
you
is like
go.
extremely high.
Yeah.
So like in real life, 0 times. But
I think you got all the theory.
I don't know. You can extrapolate
Yeah,
from the game
Just
to
jump-
real life.
just
It's
jump
like,
over
okay,
them.
like spin kick
There you
followed by like backflip over them.
Hit the parry
It's like no
button.
problem, man. I know I have all the tools. I just need to put them together.
For games with streaming, I would consider, because I was actually streaming myself practicing just because I'm like, I have this set up.
Mhm.
But like, I was streaming myself practicing. If somebody came on, I'd be like, oh, just ask me some guitar questions. I'll answer them. For me, it would be the game. You know, like what is the game that I'm going to play? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, Al, do you ever branch out from Magic, or are you fucking pure?
Man, I've just been going so hard. I was doing well, I do the music stream every Monday, first of all. So that's that breaks it up. And now that I have a little bit less time with some production work coming in and stuff like that, I'm probably going to have to go back down to 3 days a week. Like my goal when I started was like Monday's the music stream, Wednesday morning I'll do some gaming, maybe Friday morning I'll do some gaming. That way
Nice.
it's going to fit with my music schedule. And then, obviously when
Yeah.
lockdown happened, it was just like, I'm just going to stream whenever I feel like it. But, yeah, I mean, so there's the music side of it. And then I was doing Flashback Friday where I just like pull out an old game that I used to play when I was a kid and see if I was still good at it. And
FF6?
it was, no, because it's too long of a game, but maybe though.
It is.
That could be a good one in the future.
FF6 is a fucking great game.
I
You ever
played,
play
like-
RPGs, Mr. Moffett?
You know what? No. The
fair.
short answer is no, and I've learned like more and more. I used to think I liked RPGs. I would play them when I was a kid,
Me too.
and now what I've really learned about me and video games is like if there's a cutscene, I just want to skip it. Like I don't care what the story is at all. The
Yeah.
less story, the better. Like that's why I stream retro games. Like I am man with like rifle and I jump over the other bullets and shoot mine at the guys. And I just want to like execute at a high level until the game is over. And then like in the final cutscene I'll be like, you saved the planet. And I'm like,
You
I
saved
did,
the
didn't I?
princess."
I did save the planet.
That makes me
And
think
the
of,
real planets I saved were the friends I made along the way. like that's the approach.
it reminds me of like Link, like the new Zelda games and all that shit. It's like
Mhm.
tons of story, but way back in the day, I literally remember you fucking start the game, there's an unconscious princess, you have a sword, and there's no instructions. It's like, do you go to this village?
I actually
You just go.
streamed the original Legend of Zelda game for
Yeah.
NES like pretty
It's a
recently.
hard one to piece together, eh?
Well, if it weren't for Twitch chat existing, I wouldn't. It's like, no, you idiot. You have to burn the third bush to the left, and there's
they
a
don't give a
hidden
shit.
passage under it, moron. And I'm like, what? Like, you could play this game for 1,000 hours and never figure
there's
that
no
out.
internet.
There's literally no
Yeah.
instruction.
Yeah.
I mean, because games were made different back then. Now it's like games are made so that you play them and you beat the video game. Like you
Yep.
play it for enough time for the game to be over. But back in those days, it's like half of those early NES games are just arcade ports. Like you're not designed to beat it. You're designed to die, so you keep putting quarters in the arcade machine. And then with Zelda, not an arcade game, it's like the game is designed so that you play it, get frustrated, and spend another $19.99 on the player's guide
Yes.
book, like physical book, because the internet doesn't exist in 1984. And You have to buy. It's like, yeah, idiot, burn the third bush to the right. It's
Yeah.
like, well, fuck me. Like,
The guy
of
was
course
just quoting
burn
the manual
third
when he was
bush
telling
to
you.
the right.
Yeah.
Good thing I have this play. But then that stuff becomes like common, like lore. Like it's part of the legend of the thing. Like
Yeah.
Super Mario Bros. 3. If you saw someone playing that game and they didn't know about the warp whistle in the first fortress, you'd be like, "What are you fucking stupid? Like, what are you fucking grow up in the sewers? Like, you don't know there's a warp whistle in the first fortress, idiot."
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird how those like video game things like just become like part of like the culture.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I am error in Zelda.
Yeah.
And there was even that movie about Mario Bros. 3 and the warp whistle, right? Do you know the movie I'm talking about?
Yeah. I do know what you're talking about.
I can't remember the title of
remember
it, but
it,
that was like part of it. It's like, oh, he's going for the warp whistle. It was like a speed run competition or
Yeah,
something.
that was the Wizard.
That's right. Yes.
Wizard.
Oh,
I don't.
I was
Which
thinking of the
was
Mario Brothers
basically
movie.
just promotional material for Nintendo, and specifically the Power Glove.
yes.
Oh
Which-
I
yeah.
remember the power.
If anyone doesn't know what the Power Glove is, it's literally a glove that covers your whole forearm, and there's like a controller on the hand, so you have to hold your hand like this and use your other. Like it doesn't work.
It
Yeah.
would probably
Like-
cause
like
a
beating a
significant
game with
amount
a
of
power
repetitive
glove
stress injuries.
It is like you can't do it. But I think I kind of want to own a Power Glove, not to
Yeah.
game on, but like just imagine showing up to like, you know, a social event like a first date or like a wedding or a funeral wearing a Power Glove. Like it's a power move.
Right.
Like it's certainly a good conversation starter. It's a good icebreaker when you show up to your first date, you walk into Toroni with a Power Glove on.
Really
the,
sets the
host,
tone.
the host is like, discerning gentleman, I see. Yes, we'll tuck you safely in the back corner.
Jeez. So you talked about networking a little while back and how it's how you've sort of related it to music networking, which is something we've talked about a fair bit on this podcast. I think it's how to like approach it, how to. How about like, are there any like all caps like do not ever do this on Twitch and when people are trying to network like?
I think like one of them is just like, unless it's your friends and you're talking about, and the conversation is about the nature of streaming, like showing up into like a random person's stream and like just like being like, I too stream this game.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, get out of here. Like nobody's here to learn about your stream. Like people are here to watch this person talk about their stream. You know what I mean? But like Twitch has built-in features that that teach people about your stream in other streams. Like when you finish, you get to raid another stream, which is you take all, like you've raided me before, where you take all of your viewers, and Twitch likes this, like this feature, because it's like, oh, when people finish watching Al, they leave the website altogether. They go to YouTube. We don't like that. So we want all of Al's viewers to stay on Twitch, so Al can send all of his viewers to my stream, and then it's like, you know, if I don't scare them off, then they stay on Twitch instead of going to another website.
Right. And
But then all of my viewers are like, oh, look, Al just raided us. Everybody, this is my buddy Al. This is what he does. Like, go check out the channel.
yeah. So that's kind of a built-in great way of.
But just like, yeah, I mean, once you have like, because it's all about the community, right? It's the same in music. It's like a community-driven vocation. Especially like fandoms of certain bands, like even if it's just a bar band, it's like the same people come to your weekly bar gig like every week. It's like a community. On Twitch it's the same way. Like once you're a part of a community, people know they know who you are and they learn stuff about you, and it's like, if one of those things happens to be the fact that you're a streamer, then all the better, right?
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
So it's like being part of different, like if you don't want to be part of communities, whether it's online or in real life, then you can't expect to get anything from those communities either. Like that's what community is. Like you're not going to get anything from it if you don't want to be a willing participant who's also giving to the community. Like that's just the nature of it. So people who expect like, yeah, like I don't know, like how do I promote there's like I've only checked it like 5 times because it's worthless. There's like a Twitch subreddit. When I was first starting, I was like, oh, maybe there will be helpful stuff for like new streamers on this subreddit. But instead it's just people like, I stream and nobody watches. Like, how do I get more viewers? Like, I started on Twitch like last week, and I've never watched anyone else's stream. But why is no one watching mine? I don't understand. It's like, you don't understand. Well, let me tell you, you fucking entitled prick. It's not how it works. It's like, I've practiced my guitar every day for 6 weeks. Why don't I have any gigs? Why doesn't anyone like my YouTube videos?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not how it works, buddy.
Yeah. Totally, yeah.
Like, just because a thing exists doesn't mean anyone gives a shit about it.
It's true, yeah.
Fair.
And I think like you really nailed it when you said like giving, right? Like if you approach a situation in music or otherwise or on Twitch or whatever with the idea of like, can I provide some value? So on Twitch it could be as simple as shipping a raid to somebody, or just popping in their chat and just chatting, just being a part of their stream.
Totally.
That's great. And then you don't have to pump your own stuff. You just sort of say, hey, happy to be here, and just participate and don't make it about yourself. Or in music, if you can bring value to what other people are doing and not, try to sort of get gigs for yourself, just for the sake of getting gigs for yourself. But if you can sort of be like, I always bring up the examples, like when we started recording people, it was like, the first thing we did was like, hey, does anybody want a free record? Anybody want a song recorded for free? It's like,
right. That's
how you get started, because you're bringing value to somebody else, and then that can, a small thing like that can translate into them recommending you to somebody who's actually looking to pay for, having a record made or whatever. So
totally,
if it starts with how can I improve the situation of the people around me, then I think that's how you get.
Absolutely.
To network, I guess in
the way you meet people in music is like going to shows, and like that's what I do every single night. I don't have a gig.
Yeah. I
go out to my buddies' shows, or I just like go to the live music bars in town that I like, and I hang out. And the places that my favorite places, it's like, everyone who plays there and everyone who's a customer like knows me, like through osmosis,
Yeah.
Like that's how you meet people. And like the thing is like too, like especially like there's like a handful of like producers, like pretty like big time producers that I work for pretty regularly. And a big part of the reason that I work for them pretty regularly is because I'm literally the only trumpet player they know. Like, it's like, I work in the pop world or the rock world or whatever. I don't know any trumpet players. But I know Tom because of this, that, or the other thing.
Yeah.
And, like, that's like, dude, that's how you get called for shit. It's the same on Twitch. It's like, within the retro community, the community I stream within, it's like, oh yeah, nothing I usually want to watch is on, but then you see the recommended streamers. But Contra's streaming. I know that guy. That guy hangs out in like every retro stream.
Right.
Sure.
Let's give it a shot. And then like some guy that I've seen in 100 different streams is in and like, oh, I didn't know you streamed. It's like, yeah, yep, I do. Like, welcome in.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing that I noticed that you do super, super well is just engaging with the folks in your chat and like finding ways to. This is something that I'm not good at all. I mean, I'm good. I'm okay at talking to people, but you have like just different things. Like, let me just think off the top of my head. Like, you've got it's not chat roulette. What is timeout roulette?
Timeout roulette.
Which I still don't understand how that works, but it's hilarious.
It's the best game on Twitch. Well, it started because one of my viewers like DM'd me saying that, can you tell your like moderator to like chill? Because I have this one like mod in my channel who really liked to like time people out, just like for fun.
Which just means they can't talk for 5 minutes or whatever.
Like, stops them from talking for like. Usually it would only be for a few seconds.
Okay.
It's really annoying. Like I'm just trying, and I'm like, okay, how do I solve this problem? Like I don't want to like, because the vibe of the channel is it's supposed to be fun, just like a nice community. People can hang out. That everyone makes fun of me constantly. But I'm like, how do I fix this? So I made a game called Timeout Roulette, where the mods benefit because they get to still time people out, and it's like it's just a funny thing. Like I roll a d20. It's actually not even a real d20. It's a Magic the Gathering spin down die.
20-sided die.
And I roll it, and
That's
whatever
such a bizarre
number
creation.
shows up, I just count up in the chat like that, like 6 messages, like. And whoever the 6th person in the chat is, I'm like, all right, congratulations, you win like a 69-second timeout.
Right.
And it's worked out really well because people really like it because it's like fun. Like people want to be the one timed out. It's like, I hope it's me.
Yeah, right.
But then you get timed out, you're like banned from the chat for 69 seconds. But I've also like, people liked it so much that I was able to like monetize it too. It's like every time that somebody like gifts a sub or resubscribes, you get a free round of Timeout Roulette. So like people will gift like a sub once in a while just to get in a round. It's like, I don't have enough like channel points, which is like what you get from like just amassing hours viewed on Twitch. Like every hour you get X channel points. It's like, oh, I don't have enough channel points right now. I've spent them all. So I guess I'll just like spend this money instead. I want to play Timeout Roulette. And like at the peak of it, like when I first introduced that, like I think like, I don't know, that first month I got like over 100 gifted subs just for Timeout Roulette. Like,
wow.
Which is like hilarious. That's like fucking $500 in my pocket worth of Timeout Roulette.
Yeah, it's brilliant, man. There's such.
But it's fun. Yeah, it's fun.
There's such a. Go ahead, Mike.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
You go ahead. Mine's
just
bullshit.
Please. Well,
I think you should just insult people on Twitch for money, Al.
Insult? Yeah, that'll get me.
The gluttons for punishments. So,
yeah.
You know.
Well, there is such that like dual kind of thing where you want to be whatever game you're playing, or if you're doing live music or whatever, you want that main thing to be entertaining. But there's also this whole other aspect of like engaging with people and making it fun for them above and beyond just watching the game. Because
you gotta think like. Whatever you're doing on Twitch, if you're just like gaming and that's it, like playing whatever game and that's the focus, there's a very low barrier to entry on Twitch. All you need is like a good enough internet connection and a microphone. Like some people don't even stream with a webcam, you know? It's like that's the barrier to entry. So it's a saturated platform that's hard to like get traction on. Once you get traction, it's easy to keep traction, but it's hard to get it.
Yeah.
Because of how low a barrier to entry there is. So yeah, you're right, man. Like you can't, if you're just playing the game, like that's probably not enough for most people to want to continue watching, unless you're like extremely elite, high level gameplay. That's the only
How high
time.
level is Al at Magic? That's what I want.
Not compared to the guys that are on there. Like the top guys
Yeah.
are all on Twitch. There's a handful of them. There's 50 in the, I think it's 50 in literally like the top league or whatever.
The pro league.
The pro league, and they all are like lifetime players. They've won world championships.
Sure.
They've won whatever. And one of the things that Magic's done really well lately is they're really leaning into streaming hard because I'm sure they see that there's a lot of potential to get new players. And so all of the very, very top players in the world, part of their contract, if they're going to sign on for the pro league, is they have to stream. So,
okay,
it'd be like you playing guitar and like on stream, and then like,
John Mayer,
Slash and John Mayer and John Frusciante and I'm out of guitar players, but they would all be also,
There's actually, it's a little known fact. There's only 7 guitar players in the world.
Yeah.
And that's like the craziest thing, is that Mike is one of them.
This is true.
There's
I'm
like
just not getting a lot of
only
calls.
6 other guitar players outside of this like Zoom call, right?
Yeah.
That's not a reality, Let's get John Mayer in here,
Yeah, you're in pretty
All
illustrious company, man.
Yeah.
It's like you, John Mayer, like Jimi Hendrix, rest in peace. Like, so I guess only 5 living ones.
Right. Yeah.
There's just no guitar players.
So you must be much better though at Magic though, because you've been doing it so much right now, right? You got to be way better at Magic.
I think in this specific situation, it does make me better because I'm talking through things. It's a very decision-intensive game, whereas like a lot of games that people play are reaction-based, or it's like memorization.
Sure.
How's this level going to go? Or, if you're playing like Call of Duty or whatever, it's just how good are you at hitting people in the head, and it's like... so yeah, for a super decision-intensive game, I found it helpful because I talk through everything. But
yeah, it forces you to slow down when you're on Twitch. Like when I play, like I haven't been playing much Magic recently. I've always been like a cyclical Magic player. Like I'll play during the fall and winter, and then I play in the spring and summer because it's nice outside.
Yeah.
But when I play by myself, I'm not talking about masturbation. I'm talking about Magic the Gathering.
Well,
when I play
close to the same thing.
Alone in my bedroom in the evenings with dim lighting on Magic Arena, I typically like a game will take me like 6 minutes because I just do everything automatically. It's just like super fast, and I'll make lots of mistakes and like, oops, tapped my mana wrong or whatever. But when like I would be doing it on Twitch, or when I have like friends over who want to learn about Magic, then it's like you really slow things down. It's like you make much better decisions when you slow things down. Like your gameplay goes like way higher. That's when you're performing at your peak level.
But then
if
there's too many people chatting in chat, then I get distracted, and then it's like there's a diminishing returns in terms of my gameplay. But
well, definitely, I think it's not possible to play at any game at a peak level while streaming on Twitch.
Yeah,
I just don't think it's possible because too much, like trying to communicate a complex thought unrelated to the mechanical thing your hands and brain are engaged in. Yeah. Like you're like truly multitasking. It's like I'm trying to communicate something complex while executing something complex. Like it's just like you can't put your whole brain towards either of those things. So it's not going to be at the best level it could be.
Sure.
But that's like the drama of gaming on Twitch too. It's like you're just like there chatting away, and then like it gets to like a like serious part or like part of the game I've never been to before, like a new boss, and I'm like chatting away, and then it's like, hyper focused, like not saying anything. And that's when the chat really starts like popping off, is when you're not even like reacting to them. You're like, I don't have time for you guys right now. I'm a gamer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's the drama of the thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think you'll, this is probably an obvious question, but like, do you think you're going to stick with this if and when normal music life returns? And how do you think that will sort of fit together?
To be very honest, my goal right now, like I was just doing it for fun, and if it ever stops being fun, I'm just gonna stop doing it because like that's what makes it okay for me to like take days off and things like that. It's like I'm saying to myself, okay, I'm doing this for fun. Like this should be fun. If it's not fun, don't do it. Because that's what happens to music when you make it a job. It stops being fun sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sure.
Certain aspects of music are very much not fun to me anymore. And my goal now with Twitch, for as long as it continues being fun, is to treat like the rest of this like COVID situation. I'm never going to get this opportunity again. So like use it as best I can and see how far I can grow my stream on Twitch. And the ultimate like pipe dream goal would be to make enough revenue on Twitch that I can quit doing the types of gigs I hate doing and do Twitch instead. Which would like allow me to have enough time to still be streaming regularly. Like, you know, when you're playing retro games, it's easy to stream on tour. Like,
That's true. Yep.
Just like buy the nice internet at the hotel room.
Yeah.
And have your like gaming laptop there, and you know you're good to go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, like that's kind of my goal, is just like see where it goes on Twitch, and if it is possible that I'm generating enough revenue from it that I don't have to do the types of gigs I don't like doing, then that's the goal. Like really.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, man. I think that's
income.
I think it's a great goal. Yeah, I had a similar thought, and I'm much further away from it than you. But yeah, if I could build this into just being a part of what I do somehow and have it all fit together, that's what I want.
That's the thing, and it's funny. Like our parents' generation, they get a job when they're 23 years old, and they work at that company until they retire. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's just not the reality of the world anymore. And already I think musicians have always been good at like diversifying their income sources, where it's like I only play gigs, that's the only thing I do, but most of my friends who work in music, like I don't know what your guys' situation is, but like most of my friends do some degree of teaching, producing, engineering, mixing, like
jam shows.
Yeah, exactly. Like exactly. And so you already have diverse income streams when you're doing things that way. And honestly, like it's shit, especially as this like COVID lockdown lasts longer and longer and longer. It's like I think like online broadcasting is like really the future in a lot of ways. So it's like if I can do music and this, like it's just like diversifying your income stream, which makes you more like it makes it safer when something like this happens, when all your eggs aren't in one basket. Well, because all of my eggs were in one basket, and that basket entirely went away. Like I said, I've played 4 gigs in the last 5 months.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So it's like I kind of didn't have a choice, but to like the government money's gonna run out eventually, and then it's like better have enough money coming in from Twitch, you know.
Yeah, I mean, thank goodness we at least had that too. But there's a part of me that the longer we get into this, that thinks the world, even if there's a vaccine tomorrow and it's like, and we can convince people to take it and whatever, and the virus is defeated, there's still a part of me that thinks the world's going to look very different. Like,
I think you're right.
Are you going to be allowed to put 20,000 people in an enclosed building and have a concert after this? ever again, or in the next 3 years. I mean, of course we don't know what's going to happen, but it's like, in a way, it's almost like we were living in a wooden house with no fire code for 80 years. And then all of a sudden it's like somebody lit a match and now it's like, okay, maybe we can't do things the way we did because the next iteration of another virus is just going to rip through us, maybe even worse than this one did. And then that gets me, and this is just, I mean, now we're on a tangent here, but it's just like, it gets me thinking, and I think you're right, Tom. It's like, what work can we do remotely? And do we want to have all of our eggs in the basket of, this business model that only works if we can cram a ton of people in a small space?
And it's difficult to get it to work in general.
Given that, it's. I mean, we do it because we love it. Of course we do. But it's just great that you've been able to find something else that you love doing that's gonna help in times like these. Yeah. Totally.
Like, I mean, it's been great for my mental health. That's for sure. Because it's like, I get to talking to people, even if they're just a name on the screen. It's weird. You like start to learn so much about these like names on the screen. Like, I don't know, like Dank Smoker 420. It's like, oh yeah, he's from like Southern Indiana and like has a degree in this, and like his work hours are this on these days of the week. It's like, you learn all this shit about people that you have never met. You don't know their names. Like, you assume they like to smoke dank if their name is Dank Smoker 420. But that could be a ruse. Who knows? Sure. Like, I have no proof. I've never seen them do it.
So let's maybe switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about the gigs that you do like doing. Like, so it's
a short list, buddy. Let me tell you.
So
this is getting shorter every year.
Yeah, like 8 years playing music full time. Yeah, it's becoming a pretty fucking short list. 30-minute set, fully catered, in and out.
Yeah.
Nice hotel rooms, like.
Or you're not leaving the couch.
I'm not even leaving the house.
Bro, I could be streaming Twitch. I'm not coming to this gig unless there's a fruit tray. Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, what's the question?
So you just got off tour, not just, but before this all went down, you were on tour with Bedouin Soundclash?
That's right, yeah. We were on tour for 3.5 weeks in February. So like right before COVID started.
Yeah.
Like I got back like very end of February, like beginning of March, and 2 weeks later the world shut down.
Oh man. And were they able to complete their tour, or did it get cut off by?
Yeah, we were able to complete that tour, but in May we were supposed to be doing 2 or 3 weeks in the UK, which I was very excited for.
Oh yeah.
And that's obviously postponed indefinitely. Postponed indefinitely is the 2 words that it's useless if I want to like search my emails for to see what's postponed indefinitely. Right. Because I have like 800 emails for different things that are postponed indefinitely right now.
Yeah. My calendar is full of blobs that say canceled or postponed or whatever. So I'm just gonna.
I actually the other day I needed to look at my calendar app for some reason, and which you guys know that used to be the most frequent app I looked at. I would open it 6-7 times a day.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it. I didn't know where it was on my phone anymore. I'm like, where is it? Like, I looked for like 45 seconds before I found it, because I haven't looked at a calendar in 5 months.
Yeah.
Like, people like will call me for like gigs, like maybe this gig will happen gigs.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you free like September like 14th? It's just like, yeah, totally. Like, I don't check. Like, I'm assuming it's not gonna like. I'll worry about it if it happens. Like if I ended up triple booking booking myself. I'll worry about that later.
Yeah.
I'm just saying yes. I'm not putting it in the calendar. Like I'm just assuming it'll all work out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or none of it'll work out.
Yeah.
And the same
Or
result.
whatever. Yeah. Yeah. So how did you come? Have you worked with that band, Bedouin Style Clash? Have you worked with that band a lot in the past, or how did you come to start playing with them?
Before that tour, I had done a handful of gigs with them. Like I met them years ago through a recording session I did for them. But yeah, like basically their new record, which is dope. It's called Mass. You guys should all check it out.
Yeah, right
But
on.
they recorded it in like New Orleans with the Preservation Hall Jazz Band, actually.
Very cool.
So it's a very like horn heavy record. So they're like, we want to tour with horns. Like, you available? I'm like, duh.
Yeah.
February. I didn't have anything else going on.
How big's the horn section they're bringing around?
Well, they're a 3-piece band, and it was a 3-piece horn section as well. So 6 people on stage, half horns. Like,
Nice.
it was honestly like one of the most fun tours I've ever done too. Like, it was super, super fun.
Canadian tour,
Great
US?
guys. I like the music. This one was all Canadian, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, especially for like you know, there's like van tours and there's bus tours, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
This was a van tour, and it's like the smoothest like Canadian winter van tour I've ever done by a mile. Like,
Yeah.
nothing happened, like no vehicles breaking down, like none of that.
That's nice.
It was just very smooth.
And then the other group that you've done a bunch of work with is of course Arkells.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I've been working with them for like 5 years now, probably.
Nice. I still haven't seen them live outside of I've seen them live acoustic a couple times. That was years ago. But man, I want to see them. They're so cool. And
It's a killer live show.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. I love working with those guys too. Like, they are great dudes. And also, like, I like the music, obviously, all that, but they're really great guys, and touring with them is like a real treat.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, I don't know, what's the future of like arena rock shows? Like, I don't know, we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
It's like the last Toronto show was like the ACC, so.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I mean they're a massive band, so to downsize a tour like that, I don't know how that works out for.
Yeah, I have no idea, and I
Yeah.
haven't discussed it with them.
But the first tune that I heard of theirs that I really noticed that had horns on it was "Knocking at the Door." If that's the right, is that the title of the song? That's the lyric
that's
I
it.
remember. But like, so in that band, are you ever doubling up on like something like guitar or something? Are you?
Yeah, sometimes
Really?
like, because like there are horns on a lot of their recordings, like you know, well, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm on a lot of those recordings.
That's sweet.
But there are obviously a lot of songs too that don't have horns on the record. But then for the live show, like when you're translating an album or a song from an album to a live performance, like I think too many people just like do it the exact same way. It's like, well, this is how it goes on the record, this is how we're playing it. But now all of a sudden, instead of like, you know, somebody listening to it on the radio or in their car or wherever people listen to music, you're on a huge like arena stage with like 20,000 people in the audience, and it's like, this isn't gonna hit the same way if we do like the studio arrangement of it. So we'll add horn parts to songs, like especially like a lot of their older songs before they were using horns very much. We've like added horn parts to that, whether it's just like doubling the riffs in some cases or like adding shots and accents. Or it's like, okay, now we're going to add for the live show a new section in this song, like like shots section so we can have like pyro or whatever at this moment.
Nice.
Like that's
You
like
pyro?
yeah,
Fuck.
man. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes
Yeah.
it's pyro, and it's like I think that's a big part of like translating it for a live audience is like creating moments within songs, and things like horns and backup vocalists or extra percussionists. Like these are some of the ways in which you can like create new moments to give your like long-standing fans a new experience and a reason to be like paying for this concert ticket is worth it. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're just gonna play the songs exactly like the record, like if you're seeing Dream Theater, that's what you want.
Yeah.
But if you're going to a rock and roll show, like you want moments. You want to feel that same sense of community that we were talking about earlier. And I think it's our job as performers is to create those moments. You know what I mean?
It's great. Very well done.
So yeah,
Bringing it back
so
full circle.
to answer your question, yeah, usually we double the synth part or something. if there's no horns, we'll double the synth.
I liked your first answer better. So, is that all just like I know horn players probably certainly more than guitarists. Like being able to read is super crucial to a lot of horn gigs. You jump on and it's like here's the book and you just sort of rip through it. On that gig, I imagine
it was for me like 7 or 8 years ago, but actually I don't even know what a key signature is anymore. I kind of forget.
This is interesting. We were having this discussion with
The only
RJ.
time I ever read music is when I haven't practiced trumpet enough and need to like get back to basics, or when I'm on like a subbing into a wedding gig. It's like
Right.
okay, there's charts, thank God.
Yeah, but it's a lot of just ear stuff and just sort of.
Yeah, it's all ear stuff with like most of the like rock artists I work with. And I think like a skill that too few music school people have is being able to translate between like untrained musicians for trained musicians. Like it's always like a thing. Like I do a lot of like studio session work and there's like never charts, and it's always like rock producers or rock artists like trying to like and they'll be like, yeah, no, I want you to play it like more like buttery or like with more like vibe, and then like I'll be in the horn section with somebody who's like, what the fuck are they talking about? I don't know what that means. And it's important to like learn how to like translate between the two worlds, where I'm like, if you want to know what this means, I'll tell you what it means. What they're actually saying is play your instrument literally as loud as you can and articulate every note really strongly. Like that's what they're saying.
Right.
But like music school people don't know that.
Yeah.
And it's like that's why like music school people often don't get into the pop or rock world like super successfully. It's because they think of like the music school lens is like the wrong lens to look at that music through. You know? It's not like it's not institutionalized music.
And it equips you with this knowledge where it makes you feel like you're ahead of the game when you come out of music school.
Yeah.
You know all these concepts and these techniques and these words for things. And and then you get into a studio like that, and these guys don't know how to say what you said, articulate or whatever necessarily, but they know what sounds good, and they know what's going to sound good through a pair of Apple AirPod headphones streaming a Spotify track.
Totally.
You know what I mean? And like you do not like know how that's going to sound coming out of music school.
Just never trust the chart they give you. It's wrong. Don't listen to them when they say what the chords are. They're incorrect.
Yes. You get that all the time with guitar. Sorry.
But they know what sounds good and what doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
Way better than like the average like, you know, music school dingbat.
Yeah. And just being able to land on your feet and just be like, okay, I know what I think I know what they want me to do. I'm gonna try and do that, and I'm gonna be like, hey, is this cool? Is this what you're looking for? And try to, again, bring value. You don't want to be in a situation like that and be thinking like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Man, you have a fucking game genie. You actually know all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know the theory behind all this stuff. So you can arrive there very quickly. But you have to, like, go in with a mindset where it's like you kind of already know what they're looking for. You know what I mean?
Or at least you're trying to serve what, the song needs or what the producer's asking you, rather than thinking like, this guy doesn't know what a C scale is, and therefore I'm not going to take this seriously.
Exactly, right? And that's like,
you talked about elitism, right?
Yes,
that's elitism. It's like, oh, he doesn't have this set of skills. Fuck that.
Yeah, it's like, congratulations, you've like sabotaged your own music career.
Yeah,
because you're on a high horse that doesn't even exist. Like, the thought that you need to know theory or whatever in order to be a good musician is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, and ironic that we're talking about elitism working against you in, for example, a couple like the bigger gigs you could get in Canada.
Oh yeah, with the Arkells thing, like, oh yeah, man, like, if I were a music school Poindexter on the gig, like, I wouldn't have the gig 5 years later. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, it's like you got to be on the page of whoever's hiring you. Like, as like an artist yourself working for another artist, it's like, I know what they expect from me and what I need to do to like provide them with what they expect. Like, they're looking for me to nail the parts, blah blah blah, but also enrich the show, be a performer, like, think of new ways to contribute to the live show, like on a daily basis. Like, we'll get together within the horn section and be like, so last night's show went like this, what can we do tonight to like step it up? Or like, that probably looked corny, that thing we did in this song, like, how do we make that cooler? Like, it's like, if you're just showing up, punching the clock, playing the gig, like, you're not doing a very good job, probably.
Yeah.
No,
like, the gig doesn't start at sound check and end at, last call.
Yeah, you're right.
And
you're
also
so right.
too, like, it seems like that's kind of the attitude, at least for me, when I got at a music school. It was just like, oh yeah, you learn the parts and you show up and you do the thing. But it's like, it makes it seem so much more simple than it is. It's like, oh, I know the right parts. It's like,
yeah,
that's not
like, that's like the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, I think this is true for any gig in the entire music industry, is whatever the gig is, there are a million people good enough at the instrument to do the gig. Like, the barrier to entry for most gigs is like quite low. Like, you need to be good enough to be able to nail the whole gig, which is like, tons of people are good enough to nail it. But if you want to keep the gig, you also have to be a good hang, like, in fact, like, a great hang.
Yeah.
You also have to, like, step up, be willing to put in, like, extra work to, like, give the artist you're working for, like, what they want. Like, put in the work. Like, they're not just hiring you to show up and play. They could call anyone to show up and do that. Give people hiring you a reason to hire you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Being able to play the part isn't enough of a reason. Like, any first year, like, Humber student could play the parts of, like, most bands, most like touring bands. It's not rocket science, like playing a pop song on guitar or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
Sure, yeah. Yeah. Oh, you don't even need to be a first-year Humber student. You can just take a guitar for a year or two, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. It's if people who think like that's the ticket to like being successful are like dead wrong. Like so wrong.
Yeah. They're chasing you see, and like once again, like I'm super guilty of this mindset. People are chasing, like obviously you want to be pushing yourself as a musician, but that's the only way.
But that's that's for yourself too.
Yes.
The only one who notices if you've gotten better at guitar is yourself.
Yeah.
Like
it's for your own sanity. But
you want to get better because you aren't happy with like your own playing. You're like, oh, I strive for more than I'm capable of.
Yeah,
You know?
and I'll enjoy
that's
this
for
more
you, man. That's not for the gig. Like the gig, it's like just like.
Yeah, there's so much more to it. Like I think that's the big thing that I've learned, I guess, just from this podcast and talking to people and just playing gigs is that there is more to it than just like, oh, he's the best player in town. It's like, well, that's not necessarily everything or most of anything.
I mean, the best player in town will probably work a lot, but there's lots of people. There's only one best player in town.
Yes.
And you're probably not that.
I can assure you, I am not.
I mean, well, maybe you are because there's only 7 guitar players in the world.
Yeah. Well, when Jimmy died, it really opened things up for me.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
Yeah, I mean, it's a common theme, right? Like everybody who comes on here who's playing gigs is like, the playing is not what they talk about. It's everything else. It's professionalism, it's punctuality, but it's also being a good hang, being flexible, being able to, if the van breaks down, you don't freak out. You know, you're cool.
Yeah.
You know, you're not, and you're providing value. And it's the same thing that we talked about a long way earlier in this podcast. It's like you're bringing, in your case, Tom, it's like between gigs, it's like, how can we make this better? If you're a drummer, maybe you're working a tracks rig. If you're a guitarist or even a horn player in between parts or whatever, you're singing backup vocals. You're moving around on stage. What are you bringing to that's going to enhance? And that's the word that you said, I think, Tom, is enhance. How are you
prove
enhancing?
That you want to be there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Serve the song. Serve the.
We've all been on tour with the guy who sits in the back of the bus or the van and just like kind of doesn't talk to anyone and shows up for sound check, then disappears, and it's like nobody wants to be on tour with that guy.
Yeah.
But also nobody wants to be on the tour with the guy who's fucking bothering everybody all the time.
Yeah.
There's like a balance.
I'm guilty of that.
Like,
so guilty of that.
Yeah.
Fucking always talking.
All right, well, we're gonna let you go, Tom, because you got a stream to start, man.
I do actually have a stream to start.
So, if anybody out there is a fan of retro games, which I know people are, because retro games are the best, what are you rocking today?
Contra 3 on hard mode.
Oh, jeez. You using the Konami code or no?
This is no cheats. Just 3 lives and a dream, you know. Yesterday's stream was great, man. I got to the final boss like clean, no deaths.
Yeah, wow.
No, not even no game over, no deaths at all.
That's crazy.
Got to the final boss. I'm like, this is the run. I'm in the zone.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like the power went out for like a split second. Not even long enough for my Twitch stream to go off the air, but long enough for the Nintendo to turn off.
No.
And it was just like, wait, it took me like 45 minutes of like perfect gaming to get there.
Yeah.
It's like, well, fuck me, I guess.
Oh, you know.
Today I need a bit of redemption, man.
You gotta get.
This is your shot.
You gotta get one of those power bars that holds a backup charge in it. I was thinking about buying one.
I have one, but only some of the outlets on it have the backup charge.
Oh,
and like some of them are just standard.
Yeah.
And
you know
so
what?
my computer's plugged
into
into one of the like surge protector ones. but because like the brick on the power supply of the Super Nintendo
it's
is
just
so large,
huge.
I had to put it over on the non-surge protected side of the power bar.
So, oh no. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Technology.
I've been thinking about maybe picking one of those up. I still haven't, but I should, because a little
You
power
should.
bump.
I learned yesterday that they're valuable, but
Yeah.
not valuable enough, I guess.
Well, maybe with all those subs you're getting, you can invest.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, guys, it was a pleasure. This was very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really
thanks
fun.
for taking the time, Tom. It was a blast. I haven't laughed this much on a show in a while. So
Yeah, I hope I provided like anything insightful for the listeners of this program. Like usually I just I ramble on and on about things, which I certainly did today, but thank you for tolerating it.
Oh, dude, it was our pleasure.
It was great.
So-
Tell James I said hi.
I will.
If
I'm gonna ask him about the machete.
Yeah. You better.
So if folks want to catch Tom's stream, it's twitch.tv/Contra, spelled CONTRAAAA. He's rocking the game Contra today, but among other sweet side-scrolling retro games.
That's branding, by the way. That's branding.
That is branding. And your music can be found on Spotify, I guess all the other streaming services as well.
Yeah, all the stuff. Just type in The Bruce and Tom Show and you'll find it.
And if people want to reach out and say, hey, what's the best place to find you? I guess just Twitch.
Twitch, Instagram. I don't know. I'm Tom Moffett. You can find me. I'm either Contra or Tom Moffett. I'm on the internet. In the house on the internet, I respond to messages in 15 seconds or less.
Fuck yeah.
And folks can find Mike on Instagram at Bruno the Meek. You can find myself at Alro Music on Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, etc., etc. You can follow the show at Music Guy Podcast on Instagram, musicguypodcast.com for all the past episodes, and our YouTube channel, the same handle. Lots of cool videos up there, some instructional stuff, some clips from past shows. So give us a follow there as well if you like what you hear, and if you want to support the show, just tell your friends about it. We love getting new listeners, and
Send
we
us envelopes of money.
they do that too. Back a Brinks truck up to our place, and help us pay for web hosting, I guess.
Get these guys an ND mattress sponsorship.
Oh, dude. I've had the same mattress for 15 fucking years. I took it from my
That's
parents.
a good sign.
Yeah, probably a pretty good mattress.
Yeah, most mattresses
No,
are
it
like
sucks.
cooked after
Sucks.
6 months.
I'm poor, that's why.
All right, folks. Thanks for listening. We hope you had fun, and thank you, Tom, for joining us today, man. That was awesome.
Hey, real pleasure.
We'll see y'all
Take it easy,
next.
fellas.
Yeah, right on, dude.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. We'll see y'all next week for another episode of the Music Guy Podcast. Thanks again for listening. Bye for now.